Get ready to dive into a world where empires stand on the brink of war and terrible monsters tear at the fragile borderlands of men. The Adventurer Conqueror King System Imperial Imprint, or as we like to call it, Acts 2, is now live on Kickstarter. Acts 2 is the new edition of the acclaimed best-selling fantasy role-playing game. You'll find everything you need to enjoy epic fantasy campaigns with a sweeping scope. Whether you want to crawl through dungeons, experiment with alchemy, crossbreed monsters, run a merchant emporium, raise an undead legion, or even conquer an empire, Acts 2 supports your playstyle. Acts 2 integrates experience point mechanics, making campaign activities a seamless part of the core gameplay loop. Your character levels up in new and exciting ways each time you play, adding massive replayability to each of your adventures. Acts 2 offers 18 character classes, 378 spells, new combat mechanics, and so much more. Support Acts 2 on Kickstarter today.
Another pointless video call where nothing gets done. I think you're on mute, David.
Sorry. What did I miss?
IT just approved Miro for the whole company.
Miro? That's the...
Online whiteboard. For team collaboration. We can make these long video meetings so much shorter with Miro boards. We can share ideas, feedback, and updates on them whenever. Actually see what we're talking about.
It's all online.
Miro will make our flexible work setup so much easier. With one virtual space for our brainstorms, projects, presentations.
Oh, that sounds kind of amazing. So I don't need to wake up for 6 a.m. calls with the London office anymore.
Now you're getting it.
Don't let time zones get in the way of your team working well together. See why 99% of the Fortune 100 trust Miro to get good work done from anywhere. Get your first 3 boards free at Miro.com. That's MIRO.com.
Today's episode is sponsored by The World of Leon, Last Light of Creation. This is a new campaign setting for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition coming to Kickstarter on November 1st. A culmination of 8 years of work by a super passionate dungeon master, The World of Leon, Last Light of Creation is written with the creative player and dungeon master in mind. The book contains plenty of details to familiarize yourself with the world and tell stories in it, but also leaves enough room for a player or dungeon master to put their own spin on things. The history and deities are detailed enough to pick up and play, but open enough to allow additions and customizations without upsetting the lore of the world. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by the decades of cumulative lore in Faerun, Leon might be the setting you're looking for. The Kickstarter is primarily to fund the beautiful art that accompanies the text. Highly detailed maps, gorgeous character illustrations, and more. By funding The World of Leon, Last Light of Creation, you'll be supporting the aspirations of a forever DM and their ideas 8 years in the making. So check them out on Kickstarter and join their Facebook page. Kickstarter launches November 1st, so don't miss out. You can find the link to their Kickstarter in our episode description.
Hey, it's Kelrick, host of Talk Prone. Knock Prone is a clean, chaotic, deep podcast for D&D nerds. Find more ways to support our show in the episode's description.
Whether you're a halfling, a giant, or somewhere in between, run the table with your friends, playing Dungeons and Dragons. And if life ever knocks you down, your dice will surely turn around. Roll your stats, it's time to quest. Let's put your characters to the test.
Thank you, Kelrick, for that awesome episode intro. My name is Cade, the host and dungeon master of this Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition adventure, and I'm joined here by the players to my left.
Mason playing Grom.
Awesome, so we are doing a one-shot Halloween special adventure with Grom. Last time we left Grom, you jumped through the portal to go see your mother during the game show The Wheel of Umber in the Underdark. We're going to join you right back where we left off. You transport through this portal. Echoes of orange and purple light flash past your face. And you arrive at this cavern that is seemingly stuck in the past. There are rotted carved pumpkins in every corner of the room. Halloween candy that is long gone expired is scattered throughout the floor. You see a movie poster for a vampire flick that has well been out of date. You are standing in this underdark cave with myconids and their bioluminescent light illuminating the cave. Grom, as you're standing in this cavern, before you stands a Dwarger woman, about 100 years in age, with purple face paint spackling her complexion and long silver hair that goes well past her knees. She is clad in gleaming black chainmail that shines through its hues of purple as this suit of metal armor dances magically in the light. The Dwarger woman's cobblestone eyes soften as she gazes upon you, Grom. She drops her arms to her side and, with tears welling in her eyes, she hugs you with a force 10 times stronger than the patchouli and rose-scented perfume that she wears.
Is it really you?
Grom, my son, it is so good to see you after all these years. How long has it been? For everyone listening, it's been about 35 years.
I don't know. Don't remember you, so a long time.
I'm so glad to be with you here today. What is happening? Why are you here?
My friends, we came down to the Underdark, because my friend was taken and turned into a spider, and now we needed poison to get him back. And there was a game show, and one of the prizes was coming to see you. And now, am I dead? What happens next? Dad always said there was a big feast.
I don't know what your father's doing putting those thoughts in your head, but you're not dead. I assume maybe one day when you die you'll find out what's beyond, but not today. Your mother's sweet voice echoes through the cave, and through the portal you just exited steps Seymour Wagers, and he says,
"Did somebody say the Wheel of Umber?"
No, but that's what the show was called.
Yes, the Wheel of Umber has a special time trial for you today, Grom. You see, you've left the game show. Your friends are continuing without you, however. We are not ready to get rid of that content.
All right. Can I talk to my mom for a bit more?
Of course. You actually have 2 hours with your mom to resolve any issues and have some quality mother-son time.
He slaps a watch-looking bracelet on your wrist that has 2 hours marked on it, and he says,
"You will be transported back to the Wheel of Umber at the end of these 2 hours. So get some quality time in with your mom and come back and see if your contestants won."
All right. I'm not really sure what's going on, but I get to spend more time with my mom.
Yes, and as long as you have that bracelet on, a small camera will float above your head and capture all the candid shots we can get, and we will post those to the newest episode of The Wheel of Umber.
All right, Mom, so I'm confused. I have a friend. She can see ghosts. I think she has something they call her a psycho. And am I a psycho?
As you're saying this, Grom, you see Seymour Wagers slowly back into the portal, not wanting to be part of this conversation, this heart-to-heart that you're about to have with your mother. She says to you, "No, Grom, you're not a psycho and you're not dead. You're actually quite alive."
But you're dead. Dad always said that you were killed by giants. They left me, but I was hurt. And then...
I always wondered what that old coot would have told you about why I was no longer in the picture anymore. Giants were the reason that I can't be with you today, but I'm not dead from giants. I'm not dead at all, actually. I'm quite alive, but your father and the rest of the dwarven community, well, they banished me and I can't go back.
But that's all right. They've not always been the nicest to me, too. It's all right. They don't do too much as long as you show them that you're strong.
I completely understand, Grom. You see, I used to be in the same shoes as you. I'm a full Dwarger instead of half as yourself, but I was looked down upon by the dwarves while I was trying to work my way up in their community, trying to find a job to sustain myself better than what was down in the deep Underdark. I spent my life in childhood working towards the army of Brigaroon, because in the army of Brigaroon, they don't care if your skin is grey. They just care that you are a body who is capable of fighting. And so, I did just that. Showed them that I was very capable of fighting. I fought with the army with Moradin on my side, and it felt great. Being one of the few Dwarger who were brave enough to join the army, I worked my way up in the Dwarger community quickly. And eventually, they even asked me to be an ambassador for the Dwarven and Dwarger people.
guess what? Duergar and dwarves don't necessarily get along like you said yourself.
I found an army like the one you're talking about. Ascended Corp. They don't care what I look like the dwarves did. Maybe you could come work for them, and we could go home.
Oh, Grom, I don't think I'll be going home anytime soon.
And you can see she's rubbing her wrists in these raw spaces that look like they just had handcuffs removed from them. Even with your average insight score, Grom, you know before you came to this neutral location, your mother was a prisoner. And she continues to explain, as an ambassador, they loved me. They thought I kept the Duergar problem at bay. And she rolls her eyes as she puts quotation marks about Duergar problem. They gave me the fancy position, the fancy hammer, and they tasked me with reuniting the Underdark by taking down the 4 black market bosses in the Underdark that tore our people apart. From Dryder to Drow, from Duergar to Dwarf, I was placed in charge of making the Underdark a better place for everyone. And I told myself I could do it. I told myself if I could defeat these 4 Underdark crime lords, that I could unite the Underdark and all the dwarves would think of me like I was one of their own. And I could make a better life, not only for me and your pa, but for you as well. Because no matter what your pa said about me, I care about you, Grom. I really do. My first target was a man from the underground crime ring called Strad van Ogervich. A half ogre, half vampire. This vampire not only had a lust for blood, but also for money. He was very astute in trying to get betting rings set up in the underground. Illegal betting rings, of course, where they fought and placed bets on each other. He's a difficult man to get out of his hiding cell, though. He doesn't come out for anything. He comes out only for the most high ticket of fights. And so, I went down there undercover into the underground and placed the highest ticket item that I could place. One of the 3 hammers of Moradin. Giant Slayer. A weapon I knew to be a bane to him and his giant people. And with an actual relic of a god. And my best man from the dwarven emissary on my side in the fighting ring, I thought to myself, how could I lose? And so I gambled it all. I gambled some more, thinking that I could make an even better life for you and your pa. But boy, was I ever wrong. Little did I know that the quote-unquote best man for the job from the dwarven emissary could be paid off. He threw the fight on behalf of Strad van Ogervich. He threw the fight on purpose and made me lose. And these giants took the Giant Slayer Hammer of Moradin and made it so that it was impossible for the dwarves to get back this Giant Slayer Hammer of Moradin, the only weapon that the dwarves had against the giants to make it a fair playing ground against them. And so when I returned, the Council of the Dwarves were livid with me. As you can tell, they banished me. And you know what I did? I thought to myself, well, I've already lost so much money from this huge gamble, I might as well go and try and steal it back. And I went back to the giant encampment, tried to steal it back from myself, and they caught me. They caught me, Grom. And this didn't happen until about a year ago. And if I'm being honest, I did it because I was tired of not being able to see you, Grom. I was tired of not being the mom in your life.
Why didn't you just come home?
I was banished by the dwarves until I could pay back this massive debt. And above all now, I'm stuck at the giant emissary, somewhere deep in the Underdark where I don't even know where I am.
Dad and I would have come with you. We could help pay off your debt. I work for Ascended Corp. I have money. I could help.
Your father and my love was not meant to be. I'm a Duergar. He's a dwarf. When I was a high-ranked Duergar, maybe. Your father loved me, but as an outcast. I'm afraid your father's affection quickly dwindled. Of course, he still loves you and I still love you, but he would not join me when I asked for him to come down to the Underdark with me. And though I appreciate your concern in trying to pay back my dwarven debt, I just want you to know that it's probably a lot more than you think it is.
We can figure something out. I have money now. Would that help?
She looks down at the ground and sheepishly looks back up at you and Grom and says, now I don't know how well you're doing with school and your numbers.
I never really went to school.
I figured as much. Your pa didn't seem like much of the schooling type when I was gone.
No,
Well, to make this simpler for you then, how much money do you have currently? So I can put this into comparison.
I have, I hold up a bag of money that I just carry around with me somehow. Metagame-wise, Grom doesn't know how much is in the bag. He just has a bag of money, but it is 1,280 Badland credits.
So she sizes up this bag of Badland credits and feels the weight of it under her hands and estimates for a moment. This is a lot of Badland credits, however, I need about 100 times this amount. I need 100,000 Badland credits to pay off my debt to the Dwarven people.
This is all right. I'm part of a research team. They pay me pretty well. 1,000 Badland credits. I think I'm getting 2,000 Badland credits for this job. So just some more, and then I'll be able to pay off your debt.
I love you, Grom. I don't want you spending all your money on me, but I do have a way that we could make this number lesser for you. How much time do you think we have left together in this game show?
I'm not good at telling time. If I look at the watch, does it tell me how much time is left?
You've spent just about 10 minutes talking to your mother so far.
Does it say the time on it?
Your watch says 1 hour and 50 minutes.
We have that long left.
I have a plan, if you're up for it.
Yes.
The Giant Slayer Hammer of Moradin is obviously a big part of the debt that I accrued. In fact, it stands for about 50,000 Badland credits of my debt. If you and I could somehow get the Hammer of Moradin back within this hour and 50 minutes, then that would be half of my debt already repaid. You and I would be twice as close as we were before to being mother and son again.
Yes, that's money. A lot of money.
It is a lot of money, but with a lot of money comes a lot of risk. You see, this Strahd von Ogrovich is a very powerful man, and a very feared man for a reason in the underdark black market. My responsibility as the Duergar ambassador was to officially represent the cooperation between the Duergar and Dwarven people on behalf of the Dwarven king. I participated in treaty negotiations and immigration discussions, foreign aid projects for the Duergar, but at the center of all of the Dwarven and Duergar problems was namely the 4 crime bosses of the Underdark black market, being a drow called a Serac Jr., a Drider called the Bridesmaid of Darkness.
Oh, we killed her.
Oh, you killed her?
Yes, my friend, she stabbed him in the heart.
A Drider? You killed an entire Drider?
We've killed 3 of them. I've killed 3 of them.
I guess your father did you right by teaching you how to fight like your mother, at least. I never got strong enough to kill a
How powerful is the Cox network? So powerful that one day, the internet will let your doctor perform miracles from thousands of miles away.
Connecting to remote operating room.
Giving a whole new meaning to the term house call.
Operation complete.
The Cox network. With gig speeds everywhere. It's internet built for tomorrow, today. Cox, bringing us closer. In Cox serviceable areas, speeds vary and are not guaranteed. Cox terms apply. Other restrictions may apply. How powerful is the Cox network? So powerful that one day, the internet will let your doctor perform miracles from thousands of miles away.
Connecting to remote operating room.
Giving a whole new meaning to the term house call.
Operation complete.
The Cox network. With gig speeds everywhere, it's internet built for tomorrow, today. Cox, bringing us closer. In Cox serviceable areas, speeds vary and are not guaranteed. Cox terms apply. Other restrictions may apply.
Drider on my own. I'm very proud of you, Grom. I wish I could say that things would get easier from here, but the other 2 bosses of the Underdark crime ring are Strahd von Ogrovich, the ogre that I lost the Hammer of Moradin to, and their ringleader, an Illithid that they call the Elder Brain.
I beat a half-ogre in one of my fights, so I think a full one shouldn't be too hard. And Dad always said that brains were soft and weak, so if I hit one really hard, I think that should work. I don't know much about the drow. I have only seen one before.
Honestly, if you took out the Bridesmaid of Darkness and it was as easy as you said it was, then maybe the other 3 will be a cakewalk for you as well. Do you happen to still have the family hammer?
Yes. Dad gave me your hammer armor and shield. And when I left, he said they would protect me.
And did he tell you what the inscription said?
Strength and honor.
No, actually, it does not say strength and honor. And she brushes away grime and moss. You haven't really cleaned your hammer very much since you've owned it. It has lots of blood and dirt caked all over the outside of this hammer where the inscription is written. Now, your father told you it was an ancient dwarven text. However, it is an undercommon text that the Dwarger people write in. And she reads the inscription to you. When the pride of the Underdark wields this hammer, all shadows shall quiver. And Grom, I used to think that I was the pride of the Underdark. But seeing how this hammer fits in your hand, well, I think that maybe you had it in you the whole time. And if you call upon your family name, and she beckons for you to say your last name.
Greyhead.
Don't be so embarrassed. Greyhead is a strong name here in the Underdark.
Greyhead.
And as you say Greyhead, the runes on your hammer glow in this evergreen light. And as this weapon lights up, your mother explains to you, our family line, the strong family line of the Greyheads, have a very close connection to Myconids. Myconids give us our power. For Myconids, much like the Dwarger, are able to grow strong, even so far away from the sunshine like we are here in the Underdark.
The mushroom people.
The mushroom people, yes. I was blessed with this hammer, imbued with the Myconid spores, and it's sworn to unite the Underdark, but only when it's placed in the right hands. And I think the right hands it's found finally. Grom, will you save the Underdark?
Guess what? Guess what?
What?
I'm a champion of Greyhaven.
And I'll get sheepish smile and just be waiting for her, to approve of my job well done.
You are my boy. You are a champion of everywhere you go.
He just blushes,
She smiles and kind of places her hand on your cheek and says, now, I want you to remember this. When you call upon the powers of your last name while holding this weapon, a power will encircle you. The Myconid spores will engulf you. When you make an attack using this hammer, you can use your reaction to deal an additional 1d4 poison damage to another creature. She says in, non-metagaming terms.
Yeah, exactly. This is great. And all I have to do is keep it clean?
Keep it fed. Now you see that the fungus is the thing that's powering it at the moment. And fungus, well, it feeds off of decaying materials. Blood being one of them. And as the Underdark grows more united, all the races of the Underdark will bless this hammer. And you, by being more attuned to the ways of the Underdark, Moradin will see that. And he will make it so that this hammer grows in strength as you do. And that the Underdark is more at peace.
I'll be looking down at the hammer and just look up at her.
This is the best gift I've ever gotten.
And I'll run forward and just give her a hug.
She hugs you so tightly, and she says, I miss you. Though we only have a bit of time left together, I want to spend it as you'd like to spend it. So if you don't want to go on this adventure, if you don't want to do anything with me because I've been out of your life, I will understand.
I've dreamt of fighting by you for most of my life. I don't think I want to pass that up.
I've dreamed the very same, and I want you to know that I love you no matter what. But if at the end of this you don't love me like you thought you did,
I love you,
then it is settled. Let us make our way. There is an Underdark bathhouse. It's where I first gambled Moradin's hammer away. It's a front for the Underdark black market. If we go there and we make a fight, make a scene, and we can catch the attention of the ogre boss, Stradvan Ogrovich, he'll make an appearance. And if we can capture him and take back the hammer of Moradin, we'll be that much closer. 50,000 Badland credits back in the green. Net positive.
That's a lot of money.
And as long as we can keep the viewership good with the Wheel of Umber, maybe they'll even let us have a little bit of extra time together at the end. I never would have thought that this silly show would have been the thing that would bring me back together with my son, but I'll be forever grateful for the Wheel of Umber.
Let's go then. You know where this place is?
They'd have moved it since I'd been there last. But I think I might know someone who does. And she gives a thumbs up to the satellite camera that's circling above your head. Seymour, I've watched your show a few times, and I think it's time that we get to the next part of the challenge. And you feel a tingling sensation envelop you, Grom, as you are pixelated from where you are standing and pixelated into this Underdark hallway that is steamed up. At the end of this large Underdark cavern, you see a door with a sign on it that says Underdark Bathhouse.
I look at my hands and...
It's weird. Magic is weird. I have a friend. He helps you, gives you strength, but it's scary because he uses black smoke to do it. It's cool. I like it.
I've never been too great with magic myself, even though they taught it to me in my paladin days. I can hardly cast a cantrip, if you know what I'm saying.
I've never really understood it.
You and me both. I see you have my competitive nature. You don't even look even the slightest bit scared.
Yes.
Of what's to come.
I'm a champion of Greyhaven.
I'm grateful for that, at least. At least your father didn't besmirch more than just our family name.
First instinct will be to knock on the door, so unless my mother stops me.
You knock on the door, and one of those speakeasy door peekers opens up, and somebody says, "What's the password?"
I look up at my mom.
Von Ogovich.
Your mother glances down at you frantically and freezes with a cold sweat across her forehead. But then you hear behind the door, and the lock opens, and the door creaks open ever so gingerly. "I've got my eye on you," this person behind the door says.
All right, I think that's the idea.
And I'll just go in and look back at my mom.
Come on, this is a nice area. Where there's a ring, right?
Shh, keep your voice down. You want us to get caught?
There's a ring, right?
No, you don't talk. You don't talk anymore.
Okay.
Done.
And they close the speakeasy door and ushers you further into the cave. You come into this 20 by 20 foot room that is just chock full of steam. It burns your eyes and you feel rejuvenated in some ways, but lethargic, like you've been sleeping in a vat of molasses. There are 5 massive hot pots of water that are all along the floor of this cavern, with tons of children, dwarven and drow alike, splashing each other in the water, playing sharks and minnows, and all in all, frustrating their parents. In a hot pot just to the west of that, there is a gaggle of elderly people who are getting their soak on and trying to, cure their arthritis a little bit. And you kind of notice that with the elderly and children all around this business, if this is a front of some kind, it is under wraps very well. Because as far as you can tell, this is a fun business establishment that is made for the entire family, not for some underground fighting ring. But as you continue to survey around the room, you see a door to the east and a door to the south of you that both say employees only.
I'll look around at my mom.
I think I can take most of these people. The little ones should be easy, but the bigger ones might be a little harder.
Grom, please do not hit any of the children.
Oh. That's why we're here.
No.
Oh.
Grom, this is the front. This is the place that I was talking about. It looks like it might be a bathhouse, but it's really a front for the Underdark black market. So would you like to go straight to the fighting ring, or would you like to do a bit of shopping before we go?
What are we shopping for?
Well, if you're looking for things that you can't get at the normal stores, this is the place to get them.
I could get my friends some souvenirs.
If you want to get your friends some souvenirs, I'm sure you can find something. However, you need to remember to be so discreet. We are under very watchful eyes. People know my face here. People remember me as the person who bet the hammer of Moradin and that I would do anything to get it back. Essentially, I'm the Fuzz. I'm basically a cop here, which isn't exactly someone you want to be in an underground fighting ring.
But you said you're a prisoner now, right? So you're on their side.
No, I'm not on their side. These people are bad. And though I may be a prisoner, and what I did was wrong, I don't believe that what they are doing is morally acceptable, and I want to right my wrongs.
Alright, so what do we do about your face?
She pulls out a long roll of gauze and completely covers her face in it, and then at the very end puts a set of sunglasses on in order to disguise herself, and she says,
"Well, this should do, for now at least. Let's get what you came here for."
Souvenirs.
And I'll go into Is there an obvious shop, or is it just the staff doors?
Your mother points to the employees only door to the south of where you are standing. Down there, you'll find shops with loads of trinkets, odds and ends. If you really want something from your friends, that's where I would go.
Be sneaky.
Start walking over.
First day on the job. Better make myself familiar.
And I'll go up to the door. Does anyone seem to be looking at me?
If there are eyes that are watching you, you cannot see them. They are very hidden around this front. You feel eyes kind of on the back of your neck, but you can't tell where from, and it gets like a chill up your spine. But you enter into this room. It is a 40-foot wide cavern. There are merchants along the entirety of it who are yelling at people passing by, saying, "Wares here! Get your wares!" The steam of the other room has been sucked away by this vacuum chamber door as you open and close it. The steam has instead been filled by smokes and vapors and different types of incense that seem to be burning at every single one of these merchant shops.
I'm looking for souvenirs.
I'll say just extremely loudly.
Does anyone have anything?
You see a lizard folk man who is dressed finely in purple garb, and you see that he has trinkets and baubles all over his stand. You're looking for some items. Well, have a look at my stand.
I'm shopping for some friends. I have a friend who uses black smoke type thing with spells. I have a friend who likes to stab things, and I have a friend who doesn't like very much, but I think she likes us. Would you be willing to help me find something for them?
Oh, of course.
Oh, and my mom.
He shoves his hand down in this plastic tote next to him, and he pulls out a handful of baubles, and he says, "I have just the thing for one of your friends," and pulls out a silver hair, and on the end of this silver hair is this shrunken head bauble, and he hands it to you and he says, 50 Badland credits for this?
All right. Will you help me count that out?
Of course. We can add it to a tally at the end. I don't want to confuse you with the numbers. He displays the rest of the baubles that he pulled out of this tote and pulls out a severed hand.
But you might like this. I think I better get it.
He also pulls out a bell that dissonantly strikes 3 notes at the same time, and a penny that has President Abraham Lincoln on it, that when you remove your thumb from the face, you hear this screech.
I'll take it. Yes, I need something for my mom.
A mother. Maybe this vial of illithid blood. Does she seem like she would like something like that?
Interesting. Well, if you think my mom would like that, then I think that you'd probably know best.
The effects are unknown to me, but if she does decide to drink any of it to gain its properties, just know to only drink a thimbleful at a time, or else, well, I'd give you the warning papers if I hadn't already sold them to another customer.
That's all right, I can't read, but thank you very much.
You know, I have a soft spot for mothers. Go ahead and take the vial of illithid blood for free, and shall I box the rest up for you?
Yes.
Wonderful. And he helps you count out the Badland credits, and he overcharges you 5 Badland credits, but he pockets it and waves you goodbye and says, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. A wall of steam hits you as you exit this shopping area and go back to the bathhouse. You notice a finely dressed guard is questioning your mother, currently in her mummy-esque invisible man costume.
Mom, I've got some souvenirs. Oh, hello. Who are you?
The guard looks down at you and sneers, but your mom steps between the two of you and says, Oh, it's all right, Grom. I was just telling this fine gentleman here that I don't know anyone by the name of Doria Greyhead. The guard looks gruffly over at you.
Yeah, have you heard of anyone by that name before, kid?
Knowing that I'm supposed to be keeping her identity a little bit of a secret, I'll say,
there's a Greyhead family back in Briggaroon, I think, but I didn't know Doria.
See, I told ya. We've never heard of anyone named Doria Greyhead, so you might as well start your search somewhere else.
I am being technically honest because I did not
yeah.
know my mom.
And now you
didn't
know.
even know her
name is
name.
Doria Greyhead.
For the 4th year in a row, Dawn is partnering with iHeartRadio for Can't Cancel Pride, a campaign that has raised over $11 million for the LGBTQ+ community. Dawn continuously strives to celebrate visibility and inclusivity for all, and that means supporting amazing organizations like Centerlink, providing safe spaces where over 52,000 community members go each week to receive critical and life-saving services. Dawn is there for your home, or your home away from home. So visit can'tcancelpride.com to learn more.
How powerful is the Cox network? So powerful that one day, the internet will let your doctor perform miracles from thousands of miles away.
Connecting to remote operating room.
Giving a whole new meaning to the term house call.
Operation complete.
The Cox network. With gig speeds everywhere, it's internet built for tomorrow, today. Cox, bringing us closer. In Cox serviceable areas, speeds vary and are not guaranteed. Cox terms apply. Other restrictions may apply.
The guard nods passively in your direction and continues walking, and your mother grabs you by the hand and quickly whisks you over to the other employees only section and says, "We should really go in now. Things are getting pretty tense and this costume's kind of wearing off." And you see that the gauze around her face is just soaked through. But she says, "Did you get what you were looking for in the souvenir shop?"
I think so, yes. I do have a gift for you. Do you want it now or later?
How about I take it later when it's a little less stressful around here?
All right.
I love that you got me a gift, though, and that you thought of me. That means a lot coming from you.
You can meet my friends, and I'll give them their gifts and you yours.
If we make it past this next part, we can start thinking about that later, okay? Are you ready to go in?
All right.
All right. She knocks on the door with a secret tapping rhythm with 3 long taps, followed by 2 succinct ones, and then a speakeasy door again slides open, and a man with a single eye is on the other side of the speakeasy door, and the Cyclops looks at you and says,
"Hey, are you coming in for the fights then?"
Shh, we're not supposed to talk about it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Please don't tell my boss.
I won't.
Oh my gosh.
I made the mistake a bit ago myself.
The 3rd time today, Draxon. You thought you'd learn. You thought wrong.
And he opens the door freely, and you see a giant Cyclops standing in front of you that is hitting his hand over the top of his head, giving him a lecture about not sharing confidential information with strangers. And then he closes the door behind you.
It's okay. We already knew. No harm done. No harm done.
Oh, thank you. I'm up for a performance review. My job's on the line, but I could be up for a promotion if things go well this week.
I'll try to put in a good word.
Oh,
what's
good.
your name?
Oh, Draxon.
Yeah. I'll put in a good word.
Good, thank you.
You notice beyond Draxon, there is a massive dirt floor pentagon where there are 2 fighters wailing on each other. Fists and swords and magic spells are coming from every which way, it seems. And you recognize this to be a 20 by 20 foot fighting ring in the center of the room. There are stadium seats surrounding the entire fighting ring that is full of people who are shouting, yelling, throwing money at their fighter who they want to win, and placing bets.
I got my money on the big one.
Yeah, 17 on the small guy.
The fight ends, the underdog wins, much like you won in the prequels, Grom, as the underdog. A man steps into the center of the ring and says,
"Who's our next contestant?"
A lot of people grumble about,
"Oh, these fights are never fair, are they? I never made a nickel here."
I'll say to the person next to me,
"The trick is to be in them. You get a lot more money that way."
Hey, it sounds like we got a new challenger. Challenger.
Sure, I love a good fight.
You stand up from the audience, and the man in the center of the room says,
"Ladies and gentlemen, we have your next contender!"
And your mom looks at you and says, "Are you sure you got this, Grom?"
"Oh, I'm the champion of Greyhaven, Mom. I think I'll be all right."
"All right, well, I don't have any more money, and I don't want to spend any more of yours. So, in order to get the attention of Stradvan Ogrovich, I think you're just gonna have to put on a very good show in there. Can you do that, Grom? Can you give the crowd something to be talking about?"
"I think I can do that."
She wraps her arms around you for one final hug before you walk into the ring, where you see a familiar hobgoblin who actually was the referee for your debut fight in the Punch Bowl, and he looks at you and says,
It's good to see a familiar face around here.
Good on you for hustling.
He gestures around to the audience and says,
Do we have any other volunteers for the fight, or are we gonna have to call upon the metallic reigning champion?
Is this a fist fight, or should I bring my weapons?
You fight with whatever you want to fight with. Gosh, as long as you win, you know?
I'll just fight with my fists. It's what I'm used to.
And I'll throw down my shield and hammer with my mom.
All right, kid, I like you. So I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. You gotta make some type of show up for them to root for you. What type of odds are you thinking that you're gonna have with this guy?
I don't really mind. I just like to fight.
You want a big fight?
Big fight.
You think you can handle anything I throw at you?
I'd certainly hope so. I'm the champion of Greyhaven.
You hear that, ladies and gentlemen? We have a champion!
and the crowd starts cheering.
Raise my hands to encourage it.
In the other corner of the ring, you see, as you announce that you are the champion, a massive key is pulled out of the back of this hobgoblin announcer, and he walks over with this massive brass key and sticks this key into a large creature and starts winding it and turns it twice over, and a construct made entirely of metal and glasswork that is beautifully carved boots up, and it says,
Centering on target, fight will commence in 3, 2, 1.
Roll for initiative.
A 17.
With a 17, you are up first, Grom. This glasswork golem centers its laser eye on you and centers on your scalp. You hear ticks coming out of it like it's a bomb about to explode. And it is counting down, tick, 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 tick. As it seems a timer has been set in motion. What are you doing?
I'll just yell out.
I hate to break something of such beautiful construction, but I guess you leave me no choice.
I'll run forward and take my first attack and go in for what appears to be an uppercut, before I grab the back of the knee and pull it forward and attempt to do a shove attack to knock him prone.
All right, let's do some strength v strength.
18.
They roll a natural 6. So you shove this glasswork construct to the ground. Its beeping is still going, and its head turns like an owl's to look directly at you. So the laser's still trained on your forehead, but it's now prone by you. Go ahead and gain a point of inspiration.
As my attack, I want to grab its head and try to twist it just to get the laser off of me. Natural 20.
Natural 20. Okay, yes, double dice. Let's do it.
18 points of bludgeoning damage.
You notice as you are dealing this bludgeoning damage, Grom, that it is vulnerable to bludgeoning damage. Grom, as you twist this construct's neck, using all of your weight to break into the glass of this glasswork construct, it quadruples your damage with the double dice of your nat 20. And go ahead and tell me how you're going to kill this construct.
Essentially just the same way I originally described. Grab the head and attempt to turn it around, get the laser off of me, but you know, like when you're expecting more resistance with something and it just doesn't have it and you overpower it? Basically that is like, instead of turning the head to not face me, I just turn it around and breaks off and I'm just holding it.
The crowd erupts in this massive applause and are cheering your name, Grom, 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 Grom. As you shatter this creature's head, as you twist it all the way around, it lays lifeless on the ground, and the announcer says,
a champion of Greyhaven we still have by total knockout, Grom Iron Fist!
And I'll just hold the head above my head and just cheer along with the crowd.
With the mass amounts of cheering that is going on in this battle, one of the guards walks over to you and says,
Mr. Grom, Strahd von Ogrevich would like to have a word with you in his office.
And you see on the southern side of the room, similar to how hospitals have observation rooms for surgery, you see a large glass window pane between you and another room that is above and looking down on this battle. You see that there is a large ogre with a widow's peak in the middle of his head and two sharp tusks pointing directly downwards, is watching this fight and is applauding you from behind this glass. And when he notices you looking at him, Grom, he beckons you to his office door.
I'll go and look back at my mom and then look back at the door and I'm looking for her approval.
She cups her hands around her mouth and says, "Remember, Grom, get the Hammer of Moradin!" And her voice is just barely heard over the crowd by you.
Right. And I'll go and walk over, realize I'm still holding the head, and toss it back to the cheering crowd, and then jog up to the door.
As you start jogging to the door, you come to a halt right before the door. Something changes. It's a barely perceptible difference in the temperature, or maybe it's the pressure of the air in your ears that pops. A chill runs up your spine, but from what? You're unsure. You can't be sure. But you feel as if you're standing on the edge of an abyss. You strain your eyes forward, almost looking for a door that's not there. But then all at once, reality comes rushing back to you, and there you are, standing in front of this door, the entryway to the boss's room. The audience that was once cheering behind you seems to have fallen completely silent as they watch with bated breath to see what you will do. You touch the door handle, and a shock runs through your spine that seems to raise every hair on your beard. Suddenly, there's a voice inside your head that is telling you that going through this door will have calamitous consequences, one way or the other.
I'll go and look back and a bit confused, as Grom's energy is, just confused but going with it, and I'll knock on the door.
I'm here to speak with a man with 2 tusks and sharp hair. Hello?
Silence ensues. You are expecting to hear someone call beyond the door to allow you in. However, instead, another one of your senses is betrayed. You are overcome by the stench of rotting carcasses. As you knock on this door, a warm, humid wind blows from behind you, swinging this creaking metal door wide open into the next cavern. In the corner of this cavern, you see casualties with necks covered in bite marks. Whatever creature did this left its victims drained of all fluids, save for a dribble of old blood at each of the puncture sites. You see driders, dwarves, and Durgar corpses that lie in these maggot-infested heaps, buzzing with flies, their original forms mutated, completely indistinguishable.
I don't think that I'm supposed to be here.
No, you may come in, please. And the door closes behind you with a force.
All right. I'm Grom. I'm a fighter.
As I can tell, Grom, you made quite the performance out there, and I'm excited to see what business ventures we can get into together. Dealing lethal damage to the undefeated champion of the robots in a single round is unheard of down here in the Underdark. And so I think that you could be maybe my new champion.
Thank you. I am a champion of Greyhaven after all. Fighting is kind of what I do.
And while I'm having this conversation, I'm going to realize I'm supposed to be looking for a hammer, and I'm going to start looking around. It's not the most covert thing in the world, but he searches nonetheless. Do I see a hammer?
Make me a perception or investigation check.
Natural 17 for 17.
In a glass case above where this ogre vampire is sitting, you see that there is indeed a hammer with dwarven runes on it that you can read as being Giant Slayer.
After spotting it, I'll just start moving naturally towards it.
I just came here to see what my fighting options were. Honestly, wasn't expecting to be here right now. Bit of a interesting situation.
Quite. I see that, well, you've noticed my trophy. I think that it could one day be yours. However, there is...
I actually already have a hammer. It's my mother's. It's got power in it, she said.
I believe that the Hammer of Moradin would be stronger than some family heirloom. If you were to stay here as my new undefeated champion, I give you the Hammer of Moradin
to use in battle. Fighters would come, the fighters would go. You would make money off of each of your battles. You would be a consistent source of income, not only for me, but for yourself. And in turn, I will allow you to live a life of luxury as my champion.
That sounds pretty nice. I get paid to fight?
Each night.
Can I fight in Greyhaven still?
No, you would stay here as my champion.
Permanently?
Permanently.
Oh no, I have friends I have to get back to. One of my friends, his dad, keeps hunting him. It's kind of crazy. He keeps sending orcs to come and find him. And I'm afraid that if I'm not there to defend him, they'll take him. And I have another friend. She is not the nicest, but she's warming up to us. And we have a dog, and I need to get back to the dog. So I don't think I can do that. But I do want the hammer.
It seems that you and your friends live a fantasy life that you lead. And he takes a long inhale through his nose. I know this blood. Your name, one more time.
Grom. Iron Fist, as they call me.
No, not Iron Fist. You do not have to tell me. It will come to me. It is on the tip of my fangs, so to speak. An eerie smile creeps across his face with his large vampiric fangs. Grom, I'm going to make you an offer here, and I want you to think very hard on the consequences of this deal. Your friends, they won't treat you as well as we would treat you here. And let me be perfectly clear. You have already seen too much, if you know what I'm saying.
I've heard that before, yes.
Unfortunately, we do not sweep things so kindly under the rug. I'm not going to send you to a different job site with what you know. I'm hungry, Grom. Are you hungry?
I am actually a bit hungry. That fight left me a bit peckish.
Oh, well, I'd hate to be an ungracious host. I have goodies in this cabinet. However, it is so low to the ground, and I am a giant. Could you fetch me some goodies, please? And Grom, you see this cabinet that is low to the ground, and something about the cabinet makes you kind of want to extend your neck to see more into it. Right above this cabinet, you see a large pipe with a spigot wheel that looks like it controls the entire water source for this hot spring business. It seems that Strahd von Ogrevich has somewhat of a monopoly over the water here and is controlling it for his own benefit. But in this cabinet underneath this water spigot, you see a jack-o'-lantern style bucket that is filled with luxurious dwarven candies and treats, ripe for the picking.
Yeah, I'll go forward and grab a couple of treats out of the bucket and then hold it out to him because he said he was hungry.
Make me a perception check as you're reaching down to grab these treats.
8.
An 8. As you're reaching down to grab these treats, Strahd von Ogrevich flashes out of existence and is right behind your neck. You feel this warm breath behind you, and he's going to make a bite attack against your neck. And with that, I'm going to need you to roll initiative.
Okay.
He will get a surprise round against you with this bite attack.
Not bad for initiative, though. 20.
He got a natural 6 on his initiative, so he will go much after you, but he gets his surprise round first.
For the 4th year in a row, Dawn is partnering with iHeartRadio for Can't Cancel Pride, a campaign that has raised over $11 million for the LGBTQ+ community. Dawn continuously strives to celebrate visibility and inclusivity for all, and that means supporting amazing organizations like Centerlink, providing safe spaces where over 52,000 community members go each week to receive critical and life-saving services. Dawn is there for your home, or your home away from home. So visit can'tcancelpride.com to learn more.
How powerful is the Cox network? So powerful that one day the internet will let your doctor perform miracles from thousands of miles away.
Connecting to remote operating room.
Giving a whole new meaning to the term house call.
Operation complete.
The Cox network. With gig speeds everywhere, it's internet built for tomorrow, today. Cox, bringing us closer. In Cox serviceable areas, speeds vary and are not guaranteed. Cox terms apply. Other restrictions may apply.
That is a natural 1.
Okay, that changes things quite a bit.
So with a natural 1, Strahd von Ogrevich is going to try and bite at you, and he's going to...
But I'm too short,
Instead,
and he's too tall.
bite the water valve right behind you. I'm going to need you to roll me a d6 to determine whether or not the water valve is going to fully burst onto Strahd von Ogrevich.
6.
Strahd von Ogrevich bites into this water valve, and a huge geyser of water will erupt out of this water reservoir and immediately hit Strahd von Ogrevich in the face, and it burns! It burns! He will take 20 points of acid damage as this water slashes into his face. Vampires are weak to running water.
But I'm curious as to know how much time is left on the watch.
You look down at your watch and you notice that there are 20 minutes remaining.
Okay.
As you're looking up from this treat bin, you are very aware that he attacked
Okay, it is a hostile intent. I recognize it, and...
Yes, the pupils of his eyes dilate into this dark red and black. And you notice that his fangs have elongated past the bottom of his chin, and he screams a war cry, basically, right before he attacks you. I'm going to suck your blood! And then he accidentally bites the water, and it just all over his face. But with that, it is your turn.
How sturdy does the glass look? Does it look like glass, or is it reinforced?
Roll me a stone check. Glass is technically a sort of stone because
and
it's
technically
sand.
made of sand, which is just very small pieces of stone. So I rolled a natural 3, which I don't accept. So I'm going to roll again, and it's natural 1 instead. So
oh no,
the 6.
Okay.
Do I use the second one or the higher?
You can
of the 2?
choose. It's the higher.
So an 8.
An 8. Okay. You look at this glass, and it seems like it might be able to be broken by just your fists. However, that kind of seems like a bad idea. Punching glass isn't necessarily the safest action.
I'm gonna, as he does that, I'm gonna jump back, and as a reaction, it's my action to attack, but I'm just reacting to him doing that. I'm just gonna punch him in the mouth. 18 to hit.
An 18 will hit. Go ahead and roll me another time on that d20. Just a luck check. 15 or higher, you will break one of his fangs.
7.
With a 7, that won't break one of his fangs, but you still get your damage.
8 points of bludgeoning damage. Seeing as he's grabbing his face because he's in pain, I'm gonna try to just tackle him after the punch.
Okay.
Natural 20.
I'm not even gonna roll an opposed. He falls to the ground. Roll me a d8 of damage and double it as you roll this natural 20.
8.
Wow, max?
Yeah.
You shove him to the ground and wallop him. He rolls an ankle on the way down to the ground, and you cut him off in the middle of his sentence. He was saying, "Don't you think it would be sweet for your blood to be in... my leg!" And he hits the floor and clings on the ground and says, "This is not how this is supposed to happen!" And with that, is that the end of your turn?
I'm assuming I'm on top of him, so I'm just going to try to get him onto his side a bit so I can attempt to grapple him. As the Tavern Brawler feat, I'm allowed to grapple if I make an attack with my fist as a bonus action. I'm going to grapple. Natural 16 for 23.
With a natural 16 for 23, he can't even beat you. He doesn't even try.
Yeah,
you
sorry.
just grapple him. It's awesome. I'm excited for it. You get him in a headlock and his face starts to go blue, even though he doesn't have any blood in him. He starts to choke out from being in this headlock and is flailing wildly as you have him on the ground. And so now he has disadvantage on attack rolls, and he can't move anywhere since his speed is 0.
Yes, and technically I have disadvantage on my attack rolls as well because I'm prone with him.
Seeing that he's kind of trapped here, he's going to flail wildly and try and bite you with disadvantage.
An AC of 16 because I don't have my shield.
Okay, a natural 14.
That hits.
That will be... Yeah, he will hit you with his bite attack. Oh wait, he has disadvantage. 1 moment. And a natural 13. So, yeah, that's a 19 to hit. He will wrench his neck around 180 degrees and latch his teeth into your neck. And you are going to take 5 points of piercing damage and 4 points of necrotic damage. I'm going to need you to make me a Constitution saving throw.
22.
A 22 will definitely pass. You feel as this disease that you might not be familiar with. It's called Bontis Anogar, and it is translated roughly to blood of the night. You feel this disease coursing through your veins for a moment, and you fight it off. You can assume that Strahd van Ogrevich was trying to turn you into a vampire or a vampire spawn or thrall of some kind. That is the end of Strahd van Ogrevich's turn. Grom, you are up.
He's still grappled by me?
Yes, he's still grappled by you and prone.
So he takes an additional 6 points of damage, bludgeoning damage at the start of his turn. As he bites me, I'm just going to squeeze tighter around his neck.
No, please. I don't like it. It's making it hard to suck your blood.
With unarmed fighting, it's any unarmed attack I get a D8 with. Can I attempt to bite him back?
Yes, of course.
I just attempt to, like, almost Rick Grimes it style, just like bite into his neck back and...
No! I can dish it, but I can't take it back.
I'll get on top and just say I'm pitting him down, and 23 to hit.
A 23 will definitely hit. No, please, do not pin me to the ground.
Rather than trying to bite him again because the situation has changed, I'm just going to bring up both of my fists and hit him in the face.
Okay.
8 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay, wonderful.
Natural 14 for 20 and a natural 1, so I'll take the 20 to hit.
A 20 will hit.
And 6 points of bludgeoning damage.
Ouch! You've hurt me in my good set of tooth. Speaking of which, roll me a luck check to see if you break his fang.
Natural 19.
A natural 19. You punch him and his left tooth chips, and it seems that the necrotic damage that he was dealing with his teeth has now been greatly lessened, as well as he can no longer transfer this Bontis Anogar disease to you. And with that, Grom, is that the end of your turn?
That'll be the end of my turn.
He is looking, for lack of a better term, severely bloodied. Strahd van Ogrevich is up. He looks up at you with big, pleading puppy dog eyes and says, "Though there is shame in defeat, I think that instead of you taking the pride of the giant people from me, maybe I could do you a service instead. We do not have to fight if you get off of me. We do not have to fight anymore.
I mostly just want the hammer.
I can't give you the hammer necessarily. So there is something that... Don't punch me!
Yeah, I'll be, like, at that time, I'll, like...
Yeah, you stop your fist, like, 1 inch punch away from his face.
Yeah, I'll just one hand on his throat, keeping him pinned down, and the pressure on his throat is just increasing as I'm about ready to go in for another attack.
No, wait! I know your name now. Your name came across my table. I bought it.
Greyhead.
Not Greyhead. The Grom Iron Fist, you says, right?
Right.
You sign contract?
Correct.
Blood contract? Thumb stamp?
Oh. For Avery?
Yes, for the dog. For whatever place that was that gave this contract to me.
Yes.
The owner of this dog pound come to me with contract, says I need money. I give him money. I give you the life of this person exchange for money. For exchange of money to keep the animal shelter running. Yes? I take it. I give you deal. I give you, Grom, contract given to me from animal shelter owner free of charge. You just let me live. Leave me alone with the hammer, and I give you the blood contract. This blood contract basically pledges your soul to someone else. But if you do not give me the freedom of life, then upon my death, there is an evil demon called Rakshasa in the jungle just south of here, that as soon as my heart has stopped beating, that contract of your soul will go to them. Do we have the deal?
They'll kill me?
No, they won't kill you. They just own you.
I need that hammer for my mother. It's half the reason she's in the trouble she's in.
I'm going in for another punch. 23 to hit.
A 23 definitely hits.
But 11 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
And I saw that the water hurt him. Is the water still flowing?
The water is still flowing. However, it's not on him currently.
Can I use one of my attacks to attempt to position him?
Yes.
Closer to it?
Yes. Let's roll strength v strength for that.
Okay.
No, please, not the water. I've taken a bath recently. I'm very clean. We're in a bathhouse after all. Please, no.
He rolls a natural 17 for a 21.
He succeeds. I roll a natural 10 for 17.
Oh yes, you step into my web. I have tricked you into pitying me.
And he's well hurt, and you've barely taken any damage, but he wants to tell himself that he's going to win this fight. And with that, it is going to be his turn, and he is going to try and take another bite against you. Natural 16 for 22 to hit.
Yeah, yep.
All right, take 7 points of piercing damage, and only 1 point of necrotic damage with his chipped tooth, and you don't need to make me a Constitution saving throw.
Feel as my venom seeps into your veins. What? Am I missing a tooth?
Oh, sorry about that. It'll be over soon.
Oh, my beautiful smile is ruined. Oh, I'm going to get you now.
And with that, that is your turn.
Seeing that upset him, I'm just going to aim for the other tooth and go for an elbow to the face.
No, not my right chomper. That is my moneymaker.
19 or 24. Another 11 points of bludgeoning damage. So second attack is not very good. 11 to hit.
And 11 will hit.
Oh, really?
Dude's got an armor class of 8.
Why?
He's just an ogre. No armor class. Lavish robes, no armor.
10 points of bludgeoning damage for the second.
Oh, with 10 points of bludgeoning damage, you are pummeling him over and over and over again. And go ahead and tell me how you want to do this.
No, not the tooth. My tooth is so precious to me.
Try to break the tooth off, but it's a large tusk, right?
Yes.
I want to try to grab it and pull his head into my fist as my last attack, as I'm just going for it.
Roll me an athletics check as you do this.
The 16.
With a 16, you fully pull this tooth from the root of this gums of this vampire out. You may add a vampiric fang into your inventory. This can be added basically now can transfer the vampiric disease using this with your unarmed strikes, kind of like a blade between your fingers, like Wolverine, basically. And with that, you have defeated this vampire. You sit in this massive throne room that is slowly getting filled more and more with water. There's a glass case above this throne with the Hammer of Moradin. You notice that time is ticking down with your mother.
I will grab whatever's near me. If the fountain was made of stone or whatever, I want to grab some rubble. I'm just looking for anything solid that I can use. And I want to attempt to break the glass.
Yeah, so you break the glass easily. It seems like it wasn't super thick.
I'll grab the hammer and remind me, is the goal to get the hammer to my mom? Do I need to take it to Greyhaven or Brigaroon for her name? Or what is my goal now that I have it?
Once you have this hammer, the debt of your mother goes down by 50,000 Badland credits. However, the entirety of the 50,000 Badland credits plus this hammer will need to be turned in at the same time to the Brigaroon.
Oh, gotcha. So this isn't something that I can just be like, here's a down payment or whatever.
Yes, so it's something that you will definitely have to hang on to. You may add the Hammer of Moradin Giant Slayer into your inventory. Your mom, concerned for you, peeks her head into the doorway to check on the status of the battle, and she makes eye contact with you and smiles so big as she sees you holding the Hammer of Moradin.
Yes, Mom.
I've got the hammer in one hand and a bucket of treats in the other, and I'll just go to the door sloshing through the water, and I'll open it up and...
I've knocked him out, Strahd van Ogovich. He's knocked out.
And I'll get a bit of a sheepish look and...
would you be willing to finish him? I don't like killing things.
You don't like killing things, but you killed the trader.
Well, that was a bit different. It was more of a monster than a person.
I see you know how vampires work. Normally when you kill a vampire, they just go back to their coffin, but not if they're in running water. So, good job on the running water. That's very astute of you.
Yes, I thought of that ahead of time.
She says, you might want to turn away for this. And then she pulls a large wooden stake out of her purse, and
she uses the hammer that you left with her, the family hammer, to drive the stake into this vampire's heart.
Grom will kind of like look away the moment that it happens, but then look back.
She stakes this vampire's heart into the ground in this running water, and you hear the soul of Strahd von Ogrovich leave its body. And this vampire's husk bursts into flames until it is a heap of ashes. Your mother hands you the family heirloom hammer back, and she says, "You've done good today, Grom. I love you." And you notice that shackles have appeared back onto her wrists. And as you look down at your watch, you notice that you have less than a minute left before your mom is transported back to a giant stronghold, and you are transported back into the Wheel of Umber.
I wanted to go get food and learn about you. Where can I find you?
I'm somewhere in the Underdark. They won't tell me the location, but I'm sure you'll find me. We will meet again someday, my son. Come find me, Grom, and save the Underdark for everyone.
Of course. My friends have money. We'll figure it out. I'm fighting. I'll find you, I promise.
I'm sure you will. And, oh, do you have a souvenir for me to remember you by?
Yes.
I'll pull out the illithid elixir.
Keep this away from the gods, but it should make your time in prison a bit more enjoyable. Careful.
And I'll hand her the thimble.
Only one of these at a time, he said.
Is this illithid blood?
Yes, that's what he calls it.
It's been too long since I've had a spoonful of illithid blood. Thank you so much, my son. Grom, I'm so proud. I didn't know that you'd be exactly what the Underdark needed. It's you, Grom. It's you. You are what they need. And you could do this. I love you.
Right now, I'm more concerned about you. I love you, Mom.
And you are transported back to the set of the Wheel of Umber. The crowd erupts in applause as Euphemia's name is chosen for the Wheel of Umber. Euphemia walks off and starts talking to one of the Dega brothers. You are left feeling lonely. So alone without your mother with you, Grom. With that, I believe that is where we're going to end our session for the night. My name is Cade, the host and dungeon master of this Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition adventure, and I'm joined here by the players to my left.
Mason playing Grom.
Thank you so much for joining us. We hope you have a wonderful spooky season this year. It is American Halloween this week, and so we are very excited to be able to celebrate that. And we hope you remember when life knocks you flat on your back, all you got to do is keep rolling, and we hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
For the fourth year in a row, Dawn is partnering with iHeartRadio for Can't Cancel Pride, a campaign that has raised over $11 million for the LGBTQ+ community. Dawn continuously strives to celebrate visibility and inclusivity for all, and that means supporting amazing organizations like Centerlink, providing safe spaces where over 52,000 community members go each week to receive critical and life-saving services. Dawn is there for your home, or your home away from home. So visit can'tcancelpride.com to learn more.